Hey guys, I've had a lot of requests for a video on how to make your own dog food. And while I will, after I post this video, post a video with a specific recipe that will be easy, inexpensive, and very healthy, before I do that, I wanted to kind of just give you principles of how to do this so that you understand the dog's dietary needs, what they should and shouldn't eat. And so that way, if you don't have the ingredients available for what's in the specific recipe, then you know how to adjust it by what you have on hand. I would rather you know the few things that they're not supposed to have and the things that are really good for them so that you can just make their own meals wherever you want or however you want, than to just give you specific recipes that you have to follow to the T. I will do that later, but first, we're gonna talk about how to keep your dogs healthy very inexpensively. In this video, we're going to talk about natural dog food, dog vitamins and supplements, and dog medicines. So things that you can give them that will help them that are natural. So why would you want to make your own dog food? Well, first of all, the average lifespan of a dog is about half of what it was 100 years ago. And the main thing that has changed has been their diet. So 100 years ago, dogs were not living on dry kibble processed foods, just like we weren't, and they were healthier because of it. So I just want you to think for a moment about how terrible you would feel if you had to live a life where every meal was not only ultra processed, but I mean pretty much basically the equivalence of living on, corn chips or something like that. You would be so sick, and it's really sad because they can't tell us how bad this stuff makes them feel, and if it's the only option they have, they just eat it until they get sick and die from it. And I know that seems like dramatic, but it is really, really bad. If you think about how bad processed food is for humans, the dogs are getting the trash of that. So how much worse is it for them? So it's really not hard to feed your dog a better diet. I know when you see things on the internet and on TV, they make it sound like if you try to fix your dog your own meal, it's going to be so unbalanced that they're going to just die. You're going to kill your dog. You have to give them this processed food. Well, I just want to bring a little sanity to that and remind you that there are stray dogs living out of trash cans that are not dying because they missed one balanced meal. So if you can be trusted to feed yourself and feed your kids, you can be trusted to feed your dog. You can do this. So don't let them scare you with all the propaganda so that they can give your dogs trash that is really, really unhealthy for them. So we're going to make this really, really easy. I'm going to give you what you need to know to make good decisions. All right, so the first thing we want to talk about here is why you really do need to be doing this if you have pets. We already talked about the lifespan of dogs decreasing, and how sick they are. And if you know someone who died from metabolic disorders brought on by food like diabetes and different things like that, it is really, really miserable, and they can't tell us how miserable they are. But besides all that, it's actually a lot cheaper to feed your dog at home. One of the things that I have noticed lately with the economy getting so bad and so difficult that people have less and less money, so the animal shelters are filling up. People are turning their dogs over, they're turning them in, they're dumping them. When it comes between, feeding your kids or feeding your pets, then people make difficult decisions. So I thought that doing this might help some people to realize that you can actually feed them a lot more inexpensively if you make their food yourself. So I'm trying to help. I know you love your pets and you want to do what's best for them. And besides that, even in times of supply chain problems, you don't want to have to worry about whether or not you can get dog food for them. So The next thing we're going to talk about that you need to know is how to have a balanced, healthy meal for your dog. Forget the pyramid, food chain pyramid thing that they gave you when you were a kid that said you need to be eating primarily, grains and all these things, and it goes up to the top with just a little bit of meat. That's not true. For humans, your primary first food source should be fiber, followed by protein, and carbs should be last. You should be eating the least amount of carbs. You should be eating mostly fiber, next protein, and then carbs. With dogs, their primary food source should be protein, then fiber, and then carbs. Carbs should be last for humans and dogs. So here's something that's interesting to know is that if you followed what I'm going to tell you for your dogs, you will be very, very healthy. And then you can just share food and you don't have to worry about making something separate for them. So the only thing that flips is that for humans, fiber, you need a little bit more fiber. For dogs, you need mostly protein. So here's another question. People will ask, cooked food or raw, which is better? The truth is that they're both good. They're both fine. I do, with my dogs, give them cooked food. I have food that is cooked in the fridge. A lot of times they just eat what we eat because we eat very clean, but I keep some in the fridge cooked for them. I give them raw. Anytime I'm cooking, whatever I'm cooking, I give them a few pieces of raw meat. The reason for that is because that some nutrients are destroyed. Well, all nutrients are destroyed by heat to a degree, but some are more susceptible than others. So they will always get more nutrition from raw meat than they will from cooked meat. But you don't always have raw meat on hand. It's just not handy. So I do both. I do a mixture. The only thing is that when you're giving raw meat, watch if you have an older dog, if there's bones, it can hurt their teeth. When they're younger, like my younger dog, he does not mind. He will eat a whole chicken, just throw him that thing. My older dog used to, but now he won't, but he still eats the raw meat. So I think that he's just gotten to where his teeth don't like dealing with the bones. So just, be mindful of your dog, of their age, of their size, of what they can handle and what they can't. When it comes to cooked food, just make it easy. Make them a stew. Vegetables and meat and a little bit of grains can help to stretch it and give them some energy. Squash is great for them. There's so much that is healthy. There's so many things you could give them. Carrots. So really, ultimately, I'm not going to give you everything they should eat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the things that they should not eat. So all you have to do is keep this out of their diet, and then they can eat basically anything else. This will make it easier for you to understand how to feed them. The first thing that we're going to talk about is the biggest thing for me. Make sure that you never give them grapes or raisins. It doesn't affect every dog this way, but there's no way to know if it will affect your dog this way or not, so don't take the chance. But for some dogs, raisins, they don't really understand the toxicology of it, why this happens, but it will cause their kidneys to shut down and it can kill them, even just one, very, very quickly. So because of that, I don't have raisins in my house because I have house dogs and they eat what we eat and we feed them, and I don't want to, drop a raisin on the floor and kill my dog. Now, I know many people whose dogs have eaten raisins. Some of my dogs have, and it has not bothered them. But in the research, it does show that some it's bothering them a little, some it will kill them, some it doesn't seem to bother them, but you don't want to take a chance. So anything grape or raisin, do not let them have it. What I do is I don't buy raisins. I have dried cranberries. So if I'm going to make cookies or something that I normally would put raisins in, I just put the cranberries in instead. Or cherries. Those are very good for the dog. The cranberries, the cherries, all the other ones are okay. Just no raisins. The next thing you're going to want to make sure is that you don't give them anything that is a processed chemical or an artificial sweetener. These things are very toxic. They're toxic for you, but your dog is smaller and their organs are not able to process out as much as yours are, so it will kill them quicker. So anything you're told not to give your dog, the truth is you probably shouldn't be eating it either. Some dogs are bigger and can handle things a little better. My dogs are, way more than me, so they could handle some things, but A Chihuahua is not going to be able to handle what a Great Dane can handle. So, you want to watch things like that are excess sugar, excess salt. My dogs are huge, so they could handle some sugar and some salt. A Chihuahua or a very small, a teacup Yorkie, think of the size of their organs and how much that is going to have to work to process out, for example, the chemical salt that is in like a piece of lunch meat. Don't give your dogs processed lunch meat, chemical salts, especially if they're small. That is a huge load on their system. So think paleo, think clean, think simple, home-cooked, old-fashioned meals and foods, and that will be good for them. No artificial sweeteners. It is very toxic. It can kill them. It is toxic for you. You shouldn't be using them. Don't give them too much carb and sugar because it's hard on your organs. It's hard on yours too, your liver, your pancreas, all of that. And just make sure that you're minding their size. A larger dog, like I said, could handle a little more sugar or salt, or even, some little things here or there that you wouldn't want to risk with a really small dog because it's just hard on their system. So now we're going to talk about medications and things like that, vitamins, nutrient for dogs. How do you keep your dogs healthy? So again, what I'm going to tell you here is going to apply really to humans and to dogs. The truth is that our bodies can fight off pretty much most all sicknesses as long as our system is not overwhelmed with parasites, with mold, with a depleted microbiome, or with malnourishment or being overly toxic. So if you want to keep your dog healthy, and you, of course, you want to think in these areas. What are some natural things that can remedy these situations so that their body is healthy and can handle any kind of sickness that would come along without them even needing medications? So we want to look at parasites. Having parasites will overwhelm your immune system and make you susceptible to sicknesses. So you want to do regular parasite cleanses. If you want something natural for your dogs or for you, pumpkin seed is really great for this. Some roasted pumpkin seed, wormwood, things like that are great for parasite cleanse. Mold detox, actually fruit pectin is really great mold detox. Good nutrition will keep your dog healthy, so we're looking at vitamins. Do you know how expensive dog vitamins are? It is ridiculous. Let me give you the best multivitamin that you can give your dog. Liver and eggs. That applies to you too. Eggs actually have every nutrient that a human needs except for vitamin C, which is easy to get in other sources. Liver is absolutely loaded with amazing amounts of nutrition. Now, I would not give my dog liver every single day, beef liver, because in the wild, a dog is not killing a cow and eating its liver every single day. So just use a little sense that, maybe once a week, once or twice a week, give them, a piece. They would kill a deer or a large animal. Now, if you have a smaller dog, then think of the prey that it would eat. If you have a dog that's small enough where it would be eating mice and rabbits, then just give them a smaller portion of liver equivalent to the size that that animal would have a couple times a week. Again, raw meat is really good for nutrition. I even take the liver and eggs and I powder it. And so then I have it to sprinkle on their food occasionally. I don't too much need to do it with eggs because we have chickens, so we have eggs in abundance, and our dogs eat eggs all the time. We use them as, treats and snacks, and they eat them constantly. But eggs, cooked or raw, are great for your dog. Again, pumpkin and squash are very nutrient-dense foods that are low carb and are very good for them. So if you're looking at vitamins for your dogs, fish, salmon oil, liver, eggs, raw meat, squash, pumpkins, all of these things will give them what they need. But if you need to keep it basic, give them a piece of liver a couple of times a week. For their gut health, You want to give them fermented foods like yogurt or learn how to ferment, go to our channel. I have many videos. It's super easy. This will help you and them to be so healthy. It's probiotic. It will help with a lot of the health issues and conditions that we have. A lot of the malnutrition because our gut cannot break down the foods properly because we don't have a good microbiome. You get that fixed by good fermented foods that you can make yourself for literally pennies. So go learn how to do it or give them some yogurt occasionally. Medications, I have found supplements that I know that dogs can take that are really good for them and for us is turmeric. Turmeric is extremely anti-inflammatory, so it's great for older dogs with joint problems and body aches and pains. It's also mild pain reliever. It's great anti-cancer. It's just an all-around great herb that I would give them regularly, especially when they're older. Echinacea is a natural antiviral that you can give them. It's safe for dogs. If you have a dog that has heart issues or has had I've given it to a dog that had heartworms that completely, was recovered and went back to running, 6 hours a day chasing rabbits, my little beagle. This is hawthorn. Hawthorn is an amazing herb for your heart. It helps to rebuild heart muscle. So for humans and for animals, hawthorn is another one that's really good to keep your dog healthy, strong, and energetic even when it's old. Again, I will give you specific recipes in coming up videos on meals for your dogs, but I just kind of wanted to give you a little breakdown in this one so you can really understand more the principle and understand that if you eat clean, if you knock out the chemicals and the artificial sweeteners and just eat natural things, then really your dogs can eat what you eat. People are spending so much money on these new dog foods that are made out of human grade food. And it just baffles me because I'm like, man, it would be cheaper to just go to the store and actually buy them some meat. I mean, even if you buy them the cheapest, most on sale piece of meat at your supermarket, it's still going to be better than anything you're buying in the pet department, believe me. So don't waste your money on that. Just go get them something on sale and they'll love it. We're not even going to wait to dress it up, huh? We're too excited. We just want it straight. We just want our pork chop. My goodness. Oh, the neighbor's dog is here. You want one too, huh? Okay, I'll get you one. Hold on. On this channel, I have been making some videos and I will in the future continue to make more videos on depression meals, which are meals that you can make. They're very old-fashioned, very simple with just a few ingredients that are hearty and very cheap, and they stretch and they feed a lot of people. And honestly, all of those meals are going to be things that your dogs also can eat because there's not going to be anything in them that's really bad for them. Let's talk about, for a minute, garlic and chocolate. Chocolate is toxic for dogs. You don't want to be giving your dogs a bunch of chocolate. If your dog gets a little bit of chocolate or eats a chocolate chip cookie, don't panic. It won't kill them. Chocolate is actually toxic for humans as well. But it's worse for dogs because they're smaller. So if you have a big dog, for example, one of my big dogs stole a whole chocolate cake one time, and I was like, I can't even whip you for this because you're going to die. No, he didn't. He just took a nap and he was fine. So it's not good for them, but it usually won't kill them. But it's not something you want to be giving them. Now, many people talk about garlic and onions as being toxic to dogs. This is what I'm going to tell you on that. Do your own research, and we're going to leave it in the area of it is toxic, but I'm going to just give you my personal thoughts and experience. I have some questions because when I looked into the research that they did to come up with this conclusion, it was very skewed. They force-fed these dogs an insane amount of garlic that no dog or even human would ever eat. At one time, and it gave them a bellyache, so they determined that it was toxic. Your dog is never going to be force-fed that much garlic. So, and garlic does have some benefits, and it is good for candida and all of that. And my dogs have eaten a lot of garlic in their life, and it has not hurt them at all. Honestly, if you force feed me, 1 clove of raw garlic, I'm probably going to get upset stomach and throw up because it's hard on your stomach. So this is what I say. Don't go out of your way to give them garlic and onions. But if you have made a beef stew at home for you and your family, and you put garlic and onions in it, then it is okay to give them some of that. It will not hurt them. There's not enough in there to do anything. I question whether or not the research even proves that there's a problem at all, regardless. But nevertheless, most of the medicinal value of garlic and onion is destroyed by heat. So once you've cooked it, it's no longer a problem. So my rule of thumb kind of with garlic and onions and dogs is that if I'm making a dog food specifically for them, I'm not going out of my way to add it to it. But if I'm cooking a dinner for me and my family and it's in there, I'm also not withholding that from them because I know it's not going to hurt them. So do the research for yourself and you'll see what I'm saying about the way that study was conducted. That makes me kind of question it a little bit, but you can always err on the side of caution and just, avoid it. So I hope this has helped you to kind of understand a little bit on how easy it is to feed your dogs real food. Don't make it super complicated. It's gonna be okay. You eat healthy and then give them what you're eating. And if to make it easy, just think stews. Give them lots of vegetables. They can eat fruits. They can eat berries. They can eat meat. They can eat grains too. You just don't want it to be the primary source of their diet, which is actually mostly what's happening when you're feeding them kibble and dog food. They're living on grains, which they would not be doing in the wild. Now, I've heard people say things like dogs should only eat meat because they're carnivores and wolves in the wild, they don't eat anything but meat. That is malarkey. I'm sorry. I live in the country and I grow a garden and the coyotes come and they steal my corn and they steal my cantaloupes and they steal my watermelons. Coyotes and wolves, and they will eat whatever they can. So no, they can definitely eat things besides meat, though meat should be the primary source of their diet. And make sure you're giving them some organ meat when you can. It's usually very cheap, and it's so nutrient dense. It will really, really help them to not only, be full and happy. It will help them to thrive and be full of energy and live a full life. So, like, share, and subscribe, and make sure that you stay tuned because I will follow this video with some videos showing you how I make my homemade dog food that is way better and way cheaper than those expensive things you see advertised all over the internet. In fact, it's actually cheaper than the dry kibble that is so bad for them that you've probably already been feeding them. When it comes to dry kibble, I will say this. I do keep some dry kibble on hand. I keep it on hand for that odd moment when I don't have time to cook and I'm out of their homemade food. I don't have anything on hand and I just need to give him something quick in the moment to get through this busy day, and then I'll make him something for tomorrow. So I want you to start thinking of dry processed dog food the same way that you think of fast food for you and your family. It should not be the primary source of your food. It should be there for emergencies. When you are super busy and you're in the roads and you're shopping and you've got too much to do and you just got to hurry up and grab some quick fast food and you feed that to your family very rarely and occasionally, that's okay. That really should be the way that we're feeding them the processed dog food as well. That's how I do it. So I do keep it on hand for emergencies, for convenient when I really absolutely have to use it. But it's not their primary food source. It's a snack. It's something convenient when I have to have it. But on the regular, everyday, they're eating healthy the same way we do. And honestly, for the most part, even though I do make their food, they usually eat what we eat because we don't eat the junk food that much either. So again, don't think you're gonna kill them. Don't think you're gonna starve them. Don't think they're gonna be malnourished. It's okay. You're keeping your kids alive. And most dogs in other countries are eating this way, and we've all seen those strays and they're okay. you can cook them some real food and they will love you and thank you for it. Look, all the dogs in the neighborhood run over every chance they get because they love the snacks and treats and real food that they get when they come over to visit. So enjoy, like, share, and subscribe. And of course, as always, we'll see you next time.